are you doing now?
Well, I've looking at this fire, I'm really not happy about it. So I thought, well, you've got a wooden surround here on a concrete plinth with tiles. So I pulled that one off, and that's just come apart, been glued down. And I thought, well, this one's going to come off just as easy, but no, it doesn't. It's held fast down. And if you have a look down here,
Oh.
let me just put my phone torch on. If you look down there, there's a cutaway in the wood, this side there, and it's only resting on. They've cut away a V shape so the leg can fit in, and that leg's actually resting on that wooden bit of surround there. So I can't take that off. If I take that off, the fire, the wood burner is just going to drop down. So it's led me to do a bit more investigating about what are the legal requirements, bearing in mind this boat passed its safety certificate in October, November. Let's just undo this, just take this off. And this is a new stove fitted by a mariner who shall be nameless. There's the tiles end here. There's no fireboard behind it. There's no height to the tiles. The actual fire is too close to this wood. I've taken this section off here to check that there's no charring behind. Fortunately, there isn't any charring. I've been using this empty Febreze can spray to just dampen down the wood. It's getting so hot here, and it's been really making me nervous. We don't leave the boat when the fire's on full blast, for obvious reasons. So we've arranged for a man to come and dismantle this, take it away, and we're going to take all the tiles off, put a new plinth down, tile the plinth, put fireboard behind here. Whether we take this wood off or not, I don't know. I'm going to have to be advised about that. Fireboard, and then retile it to the specification and the proportions that are necessary. I mean, apparently they're supposed to have 200 millimeters of plinth from the fire, a certain distance from here. I mean, there's barely an inch to this board behind, and this is just wood. And so that's what we're going to be doing next week. Something we really didn't expect to have to do, but for safety reasons, it's going to have to be done.
Priorities.
Yeah. We've been dismantling bits and bobs in the boat, and I'm gradually.
So where's the trim that went down there? Then?
Oh yeah, that's.
Where's
in
that
there.
gone?
That's in there. We've used it for kindling.
And where's the shelf that you took off that you banged your head on from up there?
Bugger, that's gone in there.
It's burnt there in the fire.
There's all odds and sods like this that we're using for kindling, and
every cloud has a silver lining. Huh?
So essentially, we're going to end up with a sailor whale shell because we've burnt everything else inside. cruising back to Paisley. We've just heard that we've completed on our house in Herefordshire. At long last. Took some doing, but we got there. Thing is, neither of us is excited about it. We're just enjoying ourselves on the boat so much. We're not, well, we can't get excited, can we, about the house?
We're going to have to spend a little bit of time there getting it ready to let, maybe paint it up, and we've had a lot of debating going on. Originally we were going to let it as a holiday house and go backwards and forwards from the boat, you know, when it was let out, come to the boat. But the reason that we're doing this is to simplify our lives and ideally get rid of the car and just cut out all unnecessary stuff, and to rent the house as a holiday house means we've got to manage it and have somebody in to clean it and maintain it, and we just feel that although we'll lose some money probably, it's better to let it out as a permanent residence, and we'll have less money to live on, but I'm sure we'll be okay. Bit of lentil soup.
It's just we've had such a stressful life over the last few years, one thing and another. The idea of this boating nonsense was to just chill out, go off grid if you like, you know, and just get away from everything. I mean, absolutely everything. We are in a fortunate position that once the house is out for rent, we don't have to work. We're not working at the moment.
We hope.
We hope.
I might have to weave until my fingers bleed.
Well, yeah, we know. if we make bits and bobs weaving and
lino cut
artwork, I don't know. We'll just see. But we can cut our cloth accordingly.
Literally.
And we have. Look, I'm wearing my new scarf. And yeah, so we don't want any added pressures. We just want to. I think we've decided, don't you, that we'll just rent the house out for at least a year, and then that forces us to live on the boat. There's no coming and going between house and boat, and you know, not deciding where we're doing one thing or the other. So yeah, I think we're happy. We've made our decision. We might have to employ a gardener to come and keep the garden tidy every couple of weeks, because it's, you know, it's a reasonable sized garden that is there, and I'd hate it to go to grass or weeds. So
but it still means we've got to go back because it needs a little bit of a tidy up and spruce up, sort the heating system out before we can let it
yeah, the heating system there's a bit quirky. It's
like we've got on the boat basically.
Like on the boat, multi-burner, wood burner with a back boiler which feeds the central heating around the house. And I think some rooms don't have radiators, do they?
I think they all do, but I mean, we would have been happy with that. For us, to light the fire and have the central heating running off of it is great, but I appreciate that in the modern world, most people want to be able to go in and just switch their heating on. So to let it, I think we're going to have to sort that.
Yeah. Anything else to say?
At the moment, no.
Dogs have been very good since the episodes. They've been very cautious getting on and off the boat.
And over locks.
Yeah, well, Archie ran across the lock gate the other day, didn't he, chasing a bird. And then on his way back, he wouldn't come across because he thought he'd forgotten that he'd ran across it but couldn't step across it. He was really timid, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So he walked around and came across on the bridge. So he's learned his lesson, I think. But he has been in the canal once since that episode in the lock. He just jumped off the wrong side of the boat, straight in the canal. So he's just a complete idiot. There's nothing we can do about him. But they're all both inside, locked up, can't come out the back, front or whatever. Every door's locked and bolted, so we can cruise in confidence. Is that the word? Cruise in confidence? We've been seen some fantastic boats. I've taken a couple of videos of some tugs, stick them as I'm talking, and I just love a tugboat. It's absolutely my ideal boat, and
ever we decide we're going to
Oh, here we go.
live this life on a boat forever, I think that's what we'll get. We'll get a ton. Yeah, a ton. Typical bloke, never happened. Well, I made a complete idiot of myself trying to turn here at Fazeley Junction so we can fill up with water. Lost complete control, no power. Engine, propeller running like a loony, full revs, nothing happening, the boat wouldn't move. So the only one thing I can think is I've got to go in here, in the weed hatch. And I think there might be a plastic bag or something round there. So, let's see.
What are you doing, Rich?
Making a mess.
Is our fire disconnected? Nice bit on the back, down inside we've got to clean out. And, it's a little bit dark, but no fireboard at all behind the old tiles. All we've got is just tiled straight onto the side of the boat by looking at, or onto the panelling, so no protection. So come and finish, we're going to be safe as houses. Keep up the good work.
So, work in progress. The lovely assistant Fran is going to come along and clear up so I can get the next stage complete. Aren't you, lovely assistant Fran?
With tape measure or screwdriver, whatever you wish, is there. Dustpan and brush.
So I've found there is a jumper or a t-shirt or something wrapped around the propeller. Can't get it off with my bare hands, so trusty Stanley knife.
This is the offending article around the propeller.
That looks like it could be used.
We've got the BBC news team behind us.
It was lovely to meet you.
That round the propeller. Thanks, Fazeley. Nice. So we're at the cottage, and this is the view on the bottom of the back garden. There's a fair bit of work to do to get the garden tidied up. What have you found, Fran?
It's the toilet.
Oh, it's the old dunny.
It reminds you of being on a boat, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a composting loo. Anyway, Jess. Wow. So we're living. This is a building in a conservation area, so probably won't be able to knock that down. Still, it can stay. It's history.
A bit more wood for burning, kid.
Yeah.
Well, it's day 2 of the Grand Fireplace project. Rich is busy over there grouting tiles. We've just spent a night on the boat with no heating whatsoever. Fortunately, it wasn't quite down to freezing, but it did get quite cold. So we ended up having hot drinks in bed at 9 o'clock to get warm. Then we were up at 11 o'clock to get dressed and get back into bed with clothes on and duvet and blanket, and did manage to finally get ourselves warm and get a good night's sleep. So Fireplace is coming along really well. Grouting is being done now, and hopefully the stove will be refitted tomorrow morning by our lovely friend the chimney man. We'll talk about him later. yeah, we're just now debating what's going to be our next project, whether it's kitchen, bathroom. Bathroom really needs to be done, but this stuff, doing the fireplace has really boosted our confidence. So we might just work our way gradually down the boat and do some simple bits and pieces first. Definitely the next thing is to sort the decking out in the engine room, which has broken. So we're standing on beams to get in and out of the boat at the moment. So that's definitely priority, but that should be something quite simple this week.
Moored up just past Fradley Junction, and first time using the mooring pins because there ain't no arm coat here to put your chains on. But when I was a kid, cruising the canals of the Midlands with my parents, that's all we had, mooring pins. There was no arm coat. So yeah, smells from the kitchen are good with a veggie sausage casserole. Well, here we are on day 3 of our journey to Narrowboat on 7. Fran's on the bank having a walk with the dogs. We've had a very late start this morning. Didn't get out of bed till gone 9:30. But there you go. All this fresh air and country living. It's good for you. So we're heading now towards a town called Hansacre, then Rugeley rather. So we're doing about 6-7 miles today, and we'll park up in the country again. So we've left Rugeley now, the big city, and into a very nice piece of countryside. Bridge 68 is particularly interesting. The old rope marks on the corner of the bridge there, from days when horses used to pull the boats through. How different the scenery is in the space of 5 minutes. It's absolutely amazing. Pretty barlands. This is a turning point on the canal where you can turn around, and it's called a winding hole. Apparently it's pronounced winding and not winding. That's quite a big one actually, some of them are really tight. Our boat is 50 foot and a lot of them you would wonder how a 70-foot boat could turn in them. Shortage of blue sky today, and there's just a little bit over there. Interesting scenery, isn't it?
So this is it, job done. Chimney's been cleaned out. It was filthy, which is surprising because it's not been in that long. We're just going to add a little slate plinth at the front of there, you know, about 150mm wide, just to catch any falling ash, just to be more on the safe side. And she's absolutely roaring now. We've got a new chimney on the top from the Little Chimney Company. They were based at Paisley whilst we were there, but they're going to go travelling the country, I'm sure. And just take you outside and have a look at said item.
Well, you're an idiot, aren't you?